Good afternoon. We're gonna give people another minute or two to get on, and then we will introduce our amazing instructor and do our accountability. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our accountability. So we'll just go over how many contacts you've made since your last class or today or this weekend, whichever you want to kind of count or what you're counting from, depending on how you're holding yourself accountable. So it can include any open houses you did or anything this weekend as well. Um, Sophie, you want to get us started?
I'd love to. I actually gained my first listing this weekend. Yeah, Linder I work with,
On
he's
a
a
high
great.
note.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's just a little piece of land. It's has a building on it, but you know, it's a pretty dilapidated building, so it's a good place to start. But my lender that I work with, he's a great referral partner, and his buddy needed this property sold. So I
Awesome.
went out there yesterday, and then tonight we have our listing appointment, which I've been basically prepping for all day.
Great. Good job.
Thanks.
Excellent. Brianne, how's things with you?
Going good. Been checking in on some leads from open houses, and I wrote my first offer, and it was accepted, so that's exciting.
Yay! Go ahead and send the accepted offer to the transaction management email, and I'll get you that timeline and stuff going too.
Perfect.
Bo, Alexandra,
I have got 2 leads over the weekend, so looking to set up listing appointments with them this week.
great job. Sung Choi, how's everything going with you?
Hey, from last week, I just started to let my friend and ex-coworkers know that I start new job as a broker.
Good. Excellent.
So yeah, nothing special for me yet, but
Hey,
yeah.
you're making the right moves. Good job. All right, and do you go by VJ or VJN? You muted? Are you on here? Oh, I can't hear you. You don't look like you're muted, but maybe your mic's not connected. Well, I'm not gonna put you on the spot for contacts or anything. I just wanted to welcome you to the class since I believe today's your first class, right? Excellent. Perfect. So today we are going to be learning to qualify potential leads for buyers and sellers. And we have the wonderful Felicia here to teach us today. So she has been in the business for over 6 years. She was what we call a double gold solo agent in 2023, meaning she's just on performance and production out of the water. She was in top 10% in the RMLS as well in production. And she's got plenty of accreditations. She's one of our relocation experts, our luxury expert. She's kind of like in the family of business as well, because her dad and brother are both longtime agents with Keller Williams. Her dad's actually technically retired. We kicked him out, but he was one of our original owners in the office. So she's come from a long history of excellent real estate agents as well. So ask her questions, engage, interact. You guys get so much more out of these when you do engage and interact and ask questions. So make sure you're utilizing that time well, and I will let her take it away.
Thank you, Mara. It's quite the introduction. Nice to see all of you. Thanks for showing up today. Appreciate it.
And I put your little doorbell on, so if someone does try to join late, you'll hear that ding dong noise.
Okay. Do they just flow in or keep an
No,
eye
you'll
out
have
for
to
'em?
admit them once they
Okay.
ding dong on you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. All right. Well, welcome, you guys. Thanks so much for showing up and chiming in today. My last one I taught, there was 0 people on the camera. So thank you for turning your cameras on today. And congratulations, Sophie, to your first offer, and Brianne.
Thank you.
Takes people months, sometimes years. So way to get after it. And that's a good start to everything. So how's it been so far for you guys during the Ignites? So far, so good. Yeah, hopefully
it's
we're not
been-
boring you too much.
It's been really good. Like someone said in one of the other classes, it does get like repetitive when it comes to lead generation, but it's all
100%.
yeah.
And we've all had to sit through the exact same course that you're doing here. So, I'll stay on script a little bit, but I kind of wing these things. I found my most valuable Ignite sessions were just sometimes more Q&A and figuring out, what worked for certain agents, because what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So the nice thing about Keller Williams is, they really kind of push you to brand yourself, to be your own entity. And so, you have to have that Keller Williams somewhere on a business card, but for the most part, I mean, this is my business card. And if you flip it over, then you see Keller Williams. So you got to have it on there somewhere, but being your own brand, running how you want, your business owner. So at the end of the day, there's not really anyone telling you how to run your business, which is the good thing. It kind of gives us open doors. And I was talking with my coach this morning, and my goal for this week with her is making a list of things I hate to do, and plugging away at the computer, entering things into a database is not my forte. So I've learned that to me is worth the time to pay somebody else to do. So as you get going, obviously, you're getting started, don't go out and spend a lot of money, but as you start to develop a rhythm and systems become into place, I mean, there's cheap virtual assistants that could send every single person on your Facebook message a hello with your business card. So one of my big ways I do business, probably more than anyone else in this office, is I am very heavily referral based. So when I built my business, like Mara said, my family's been in real estate since I was a kid, and I've seen the crashes and the markets change. And so when I started my business, I knew that I did not, necessarily want all my eggs in a basket. So I am, like Mara said, kind of one of the more agents here that focuses on relocation. And that doesn't cost me any money because it's all through Facebook. So, learn the free avenues right now. I think Facebook is one of the most underutilized avenues for any agent. I mean, even some of the people in my business that are on Facebook, if you go to their page, it doesn't say anything about real estate. So one of the best ways you can get going is create a social media, create a business page, because by law, you technically are supposed to have a real estate page and a personal page. You can share off your real estate page. Most agents out there just run off their personal, but make sure that you do have an active business page as well. Again, it's all free. And if you're not on Facebook, I highly suggest you get on Facebook. And if you're like, I hate Facebook, it's free. And there's a lot of people out there that, want to be your friends. I think I'm up to like 2,000 friends. And now when I get Facebook requests, my assistant reaches out right away. Hey, thanks for the friend request. Don't accept everyone. If it looks like a scam, it's a scam. So, try not to accept them. But, as soon as you get a friend request or Sung, I think you were saying your people are just now learning what you're doing. Include all the strangers on the internet. You just never know. Let's see, you got a business page. Yeah, do a business page shout out. Follow me. I'm Felicia Mondragon Real Estate. It shouldn't be hard to find. I kind of got a mouthful of a name and there's only one of me. So, figure out those avenues. Obviously, you're probably all experiencing some challenges now. What are your biggest challenges as you get a database going? It could be anything from where do I start or how do I capture them? Anyone going through some struggles that they want to talk about? If not, that's okay too. I'll keep on trucking. I guess my biggest thing when I started is I was shy. I came from a wine industry background. I sold wine up in the valley, and I thought, gosh, nobody's going to want to hear that I sold houses. Well, a lot of people did want to stay in touch with what I did. So wherever your past experience is from, make sure you've captured and let your coworkers know. If you can't have a physical database from your past job, let your coworkers know. Hey, if some of my favorite clients, I made sure to find them on Facebook because I didn't want the relationship to end. And I knew they'd go into that winery asking, where have I gone? So letting people know what you're doing now, that is the most helpful thing that you can do. At the end of the day, when somebody says real estate, you're who they should think of. Now, obviously, there's going to be competition. There's always competition. My family has to fit between 3 realtors. So, there's always going to be competition for you, but making sure people know what you're doing. I mean, you start a new job, that should be your #1 posting on Facebook right now. Hey, this is me. I'm taking Ignite right now. Take a picture. People want to see what you're doing. You can sit there and tell them all day. If you look at my past social media, it's been pretty dismal for about the last year. I have somebody now. She understands it. She gets it. And consistency is key. You may think, God, I'm posting this again and again. Well, the good news is only 7 people saw it the first time. So keep posting it. You will see real estate agents continue to post the same listing over and over. It's because the first time I posted, I guarantee all 2,000 of my friends didn't see it. Maybe 3 of you saw it. So the more you're consistent, I encourage you to read about algorithms and times of day to post. The best time of day to post statistically is 2 p.m. That's when people are over lunch. They're kind of coming down off the tail end. You will see me never post a house on a Monday as far as listing, because I don't think that's a good day to list. The last thing people are really worried about is planning their weekends. So statistically, I always list my homes anywhere from Tuesday to Friday because that's when people are looking. So keeping consistent. You may think it's boring over and over, but the more you get in front of people, the more they're going to see you.
Felicia, so
yes,
you have someone who runs your Facebook page?
I do. And it took me 7 years. So
Okay,
I'm not saying you need to do that. I'm just old.
Right.
I don't like it. I go on there and end up with kitten videos. So to me,
Yeah.
I'm not a good Facebook person. I am
For
good
sure.
at responding to your messages, but my, 25-year-old gal, she understands it. So, I mean, I have her right now for 15 hours a week. She
Okay.
will, I hired her this year. So she's a new one for me. But leverage was a big thing for me. I finally got to a point where I just didn't have time for it, and it was a wasted opportunity where I
Right.
wasn't letting people know, because people know that my brother's in the business. They know that my father was in the business. We're separate entities. My brother and I are not on the same team. So, good question.
I'm reading The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and that's what they're talking about right now, is hiring someone and gaining leverage.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it could be something as part-time. I mean, I don't know if anyone's in the office today, but there's usually a couple people, like there's this girl Sierra in here. She's worked for a few different agents. She works for the DeBose team now full-time, but she worked for me, you know, part-time there for a minute when I needed help with Christmas cards, things like that. So don't be afraid to hire leverage. I mean, you know, don't feel like you need to go 1099 somebody. It could be as simple as, hey, I need to throw it out to the Facebook group or put it in the KW email. I need somebody for 10 hours a week. I guarantee there will be people that come out of the woodwork that'll want to play. Oh, somebody wants in.
I'm someone's transaction coordinator right now, which has been extremely helpful with knowledge.
Yes, transaction coordinators. That to me was a no-brainer. Everyone, again, that's the great thing. You get to run your business how you want. I couldn't imagine running my business without a transaction coordinator. I've had one since day one, and I've happily paid her $350 a transaction. That's the best money I can possibly spend. Again, my time is not utilized best when it's in front of command. I am the best when I am out in the world, not sitting behind a computer. But again, you know, be sensible with your money at first. You know, try to do as much as you possibly can at first. But the biggest L that took me way too long that I wish I would have listened was leverage. I mean, you know, I was so worried about spending 20 bucks an hour for this and that. And it's like, your time really is worth, hi child, hundreds of dollars an hour, if not thousands. I mean, I truly, you know, think my time is worth $1,000 an hour, easy, you know, with especially once you get rolling with how much money out of that $1,000 I truly take home. There's a lot of cost that goes behind it. People will
Can you
always
also find like a runner, like so someone to go like hang door hangers and stuff? Like I'm good behind a computer, but walking door to door kind of freaks me out.
Yeah. Yeah, good. I mean, Alexander, good one. I was never a door knocker. I like getting in front of people, but not that way. I did door knock. I did a lot of pumpkin drop-offs, like during COVID when nobody was working. I went to Albertsons and I think they had little tiny pumpkins for like 40 cents. And I made a simple postcard. I don't know if I have any lying around here, but to me, you know, there's a lot of no soliciting sign. You just don't know sometimes, you know, be cautious when it comes to it. But I just left it on the porch and I said, I love your decorations. And at the bottom, it said I was in real estate, but I stayed a little consistent in one neighborhood because I just wanted this one neighborhood's attention. And so I went back at Christmas time. But if door knocking's not your thing, think of different avenues. If door knocking's not your thing, picking up the phone's going to have to be. Or, you know, how can you build that database? Again, reaching out to people on Facebook. You're going to, you know, if you were to the next year, we'll find we all have a lot of mutual friends, and that's okay. But just find what works best. My summers are pretty busy, so I tend to focus more on my clients this time of year. So you can't see it, but my assistant's made over 1,000 trick-or-treat bags over here. There's a flood in the office. So this is the time of year where I have looked to sponsor things. So I'm organized with a local church. They do a trunk or treat. So everyone's going to get a bag and they got a cute little flyer with my name on it. Next month, I got lucky. There's this holiday market that Lane County does, and there's like 28 vendors. And I started this 2 years ago where I'm the only person that stands at these holiday markets and I don't really sell anything. You know, there's candle makers, scarf makers, this, that, and I'm a free table. I give away little tape measures. I mean, you get 200 tiny tape measures with a sticker on it on Amazon for 10 cents a tape measure, not even that much, 2 cents. So getting yourself in front of people, again, you don't need to spend a lot of money, but you do need to, you know, brand yourself in a logo. I mean, everyone should be working on a logo right now. You can go online and type in a logo, and there's digital designers that you'll never meet that'll make you a logo for $5. Vistaprint, go get yourself some business cards. This is one of the most missed opportunities. And you know, there's a lot of apps on the phone now. Like one is called Blink, BLINQ. It looks like this. It's $3.99 a month. It's a digital business card. So I'll go to a couple KW events a year. Again, I'm heavily on referral base, so I go to referral events. One's in Vegas. And when you're running around, you don't have time to carry these. So a lot of it's electronic too. So I can't encourage you enough. If you go to just my phone and you pull up the favorites, you know, you got albums and all that. There's a picture of my card at all times in there. And that's for me to get immediately on Facebook. So if somebody needs an agent on Facebook, I'm going to drop my picture. Because you know what stands out? This picture versus 47 names. So you don't even have to pay for a service to have your business card. You can literally take a picture and put it on your phone for free. So if you're trying to give out business cards, oh, I don't want one. Oh, it's okay. I'll airdrop you one right now. That way you have it. It's there. It's done. Most people aren't going to say, oh, no, you know, and everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people do have iPhones. So don't airdrop them. Hey, I'm just going to airdrop you my card right now. But make sure you always have some sort of identification on you, because I'll tell you what, the time you don't, you're going to be in Albertsons and the guy behind you needs a realtor and you don't have a business card to give. So, yeah, just brand yourself. Make sure to brand yourself really well. People are always going to want to work with the agent whose emotional proximity to them is the strongest at the time. So I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me where, oh, I'm sure they're going to buy with me. I'm sure of it. And then I'll look and congratulations, they got a key on Facebook and they went and bought with somebody else. Now, I don't let that happen anymore, but it will be a harsh lesson. You got to always tell people what you do. We're not annoying. We're here to help people. So the more intimidated you are by it, by presenting who you are, the more they're going to see it. I mean, again, you know, being on camera today is great. I encourage everyone to get on camera, because if you can't get on camera with me and another peer of yours, you know, you want to make sure you're very well prepared when it comes time to getting in front of a client. So, you know, I know Mara and all these people have told you, you know, role play. I role play with our top solo agent next door. It's what you do. Your top agents will always script practice. We had a huge rule change. I applaud all of you for getting into the business with the big NAR rule that changed in August, where you can no longer offer buyer agent compensation. There's agents that I've sat in classrooms with that, you know, I've considered some of the best in the business, and they don't know how to ask their buyer for compensation. So we role play, because if you're not going to be able to do it in front of your client, somebody else, I will go in there and I will ask your client. So just make sure you're prepared at all times. And again, role playing, script practice is huge. I'm in the office all the time. If you want to come role play with me, script practice, come on in. My door's always open for you. We talked about social media. So this is a good one too. So I have a client right now. They're one of my very first clients. They still have not bought, and it's 7 years later. So you're not buying the house, they are. And that's something I stress to my clients over and over and over, because some clients get very conscientious about it. I've you know, had a client before that I'm like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I saw an open house. I went yesterday. Why didn't you call me? I didn't want to bother you. It is our job to go to open houses with your clients. Please don't let your clients go to open houses by themselves. Even if they say, no, you know, it's okay. It's your job. It's just like showing them at a house. Now there's just a few more people. So especially in today's market where there's a lot of buyers that aren't signing the buyer representation agreements, if you have a buyer or you think you have a buyer and they have not signed an agreement with you for the 2.5%, for the 3%, whatever that number is, 3,000 bananas, the chances that they come to an open house with me and I start talking to them, and if they haven't signed anything, they're probably going to end up signing with me by the end of that open house. So that's something too. I encourage you to do open houses, because you'd be surprised how many unrepresented buyers are out there. Or, hey, do you guys have an agent you're working with? We sure do. Cool. Who is it? I always like to know who, you know, my fellow competition is. Make light of it. Oh, well, it's Joe Schmo. Well, did you guys sign that agency agreement with him? Can't tell you how many times I've done open houses since this rule has implemented. What rule? I'm sorry, you don't know about the rule and you say you're working with an agent. Now you're my client. This is it. Now you're mine. So, you know, keeping your client informed, but also making sure that they know they're working with you.
I actually
That's-
gave the client that way at an open house. They had talked with another agent but didn't sign the contract, and they did not like the way that she explained the new
Mhm.
change in rules. And we had ran scripts in my office over here in Klamath Falls, and so I just explained it to him the way Keller Williams has told us to, and we just got an offer accepted last week. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
See, there you go. And they probably had no idea you were brand spanking new. So,
Yeah.
and I bet that other agent was not brand spanking new. Again, there's a lot of comfortableness right now. I love this time of year. I love December 31st because that's renewal season for everybody. And January, you'll see, the real estate agent count go down. We've already seen it go down like 24% in the last year. So I applaud you. Pick up this business that everybody's leaving because there's plenty of it around. Leads versus contacts. I'm sure you've seen this model before. I'm not going to really tooth and nail, but kind of the difference between leads and contacts. So I'm not sure if you've heard this expression yet, but categorize your clients by, are they an A buyer, meaning they're ready to go? You have that pre-approval in hand. You are looking every weekend for that house. Are they a B buyer? Have they talked to a lender, but they're not quite yet ready to get pre-approved? And that's okay. But you're now a B buyer. You're not going to be I'm not going to drop everything on the weekend to show you the competitive house. Or I'm a C buyer. I've downloaded the Zillow app. Nurture them, put them on a campaign, and let them be until somebody is really ready to go, or they've had the conversation with your lender or a lender. They're not ready, and it's okay. That's fine. Again, they're going to buy when they're ready. It's important for you to make sure you're in front of them every step of the way. Because like I said, I know when blank, blank, blank Yoder are going to be buying a house, they're going to think of me. It's taken a while. It's taken some Christmas cards. It's taken a couple lunches going out to see them. But I know when it does happen, when they can no longer do stairs, they're going to call me. And it's taken 7 years. So don't look for people that are immediately going to buy. But when they are, put them in your A category and make them important. Make time for them. A lot of people do expect us to drop things at the drop of a hat, and it's okay to say, you know what, I'm booked with appointments today. I can get back to you tomorrow. Don't say I can't do it today. Just say I'm booked already today. Can I get back with you tomorrow? If the house is going to be gone in 5 hours, call another agent then. Okay, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm out of town today. I'm working up in Albany. I'm going to call Nick and see if Nick can get you into that. Nick's on my team. He's not, but it just sounds nice rather than say, I'm going to cold call the office and see what kind of agent. Have your standbys. Me and this other agent, we run our solo businesses, but we never take vacations at the same time. And we've mapped that out on purpose, meaning when Nick is gone, his clients are just as important as my clients. I am there to open doors. I am there to do whatever Nick needs and vice versa. So we each got to take a week vacation this summer, and I don't think we would have ever done that had we not had it in place. So get your partners in place, because you're not going to be available all the time, even though the whole world thinks that's all we do all day. But again, those ABC buyers kind of fall into the leads versus contacts. Leads are the people that you have the contact information for, and you have a way to follow up with them. Facebook friend, you have them, you can message them. Contacts are the people that you know their relationship, that they have 2 kids, that the son's in soccer right now. Those are your contacts. Those are your A buyers. Those are the ones that should be hearing from you by snail mail every quarter. I do postcards. We have a lady in the office that does marketing. So every month someone's going to get something from me. And there are about 25 people that regularly use these out of 250. Yes, Ray.
I had a question. I heard that we can look up Keller Williams listings via MLS. How do we do that?
I think you would just have
or like
to
reaching out to agents on open houses.
Oh, you mean like look at current listings and see who's KW to host their open? I see what you're saying there. I don't know how to screen share that, but I'm going to make note of that and have Mara drop a little kind of maybe 10-second screenshot how to do that, because you should just be able to identify it by the brokerage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ray, are you in
houses are the way to
MLS?
go.
Which MLS are you in?
RMLS.
I can show you if you want.
See, There you
after
go.
this.
Is anybody
Yeah.
here in Eugene? I forget you're all Ray, you're in Portland, right?
No, I'm
No.
in Eugene.
You
I'm
are in Eugene.
Yeah.
Brienne's in Eugene. Got some K Falls. Okay. Good. Well, it's good. You're not all in direct competition with each other then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to put it out. You know, we all have Facebook pages. Our little Eugene one, I think, has like 160 of us.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to put out there, hey, does anyone need an open house covered this weekend? Facebook, there, for those of you in Lane County, there is a Facebook group called Lane County Open Houses. So if you do an open house, it better be in that group, because those are the agents that are paying attention to where they're going to go for the weekend, who they're going to line up to see. But don't be afraid to put it out there. Hey, does anybody need a host for the weekend? I mean, there's consistently people in there, the same agents that, you know, want you to do their open house. I would figure out who, or you know, don't be afraid to ask your office who your top agents are and reach out to them. Rebecca Marsh is one of ours here in Eugene, and I got started with her. I said, give me your open houses, because she was doing the $1 million open houses, and those were the clients. You know, I want all the clients, so it doesn't matter, but she was one of my first contacts. I said, don't call anybody else. Now I don't do her open houses because I do my own, but she has another team now that they know they have Rebecca Marsh. So reach out to your agents in the office and reach out to your top ones and say, hey, do you have an open house I can do? I typically do my open houses because that's what I believe a seller has hired me for, but there are instances where I can't do an open house, and there's a handful of agents I'll always call. And you bet mine are marketed very, very well. So as you become friends with us, pay attention who's really branded on Facebook, reach out to them, because that's free marketing for you. They're advertising their open house. They're not advertising, they're not doing it, but they're advertising to their database of 5,000 people that you're doing an open house and you can collect their clients. So pay attention who's active on the social media.
And you mentioned that the majority of your business after 7 years became the referral system.
It did. It did. I wanted something.
So how's that working out? How's that working out for you? Because at the moment this morning, I contacted a person out in New York, and they're interested in moving back into town.
Mhm.
They're looking at land, but I want to keep up the conversation. It seems like they're very adamant about moving back to Eugene. They love the
That's
place.
great.
They hate New York, so that's a positive on all behalves. But yeah, how have you found to maintain contact and like friendliness with these clients over the years? Because I did what you mentioned, send her my socials, let her know, hey, here's a little more about me. I want you to get to know me a little better. So
Sure.
send her my personal website and my KW links.
No, that's a good question. And if they're still maintaining contact, they still want to hear from you. So, you know, what I always tell when I am interviewing with different agents, because, you know, hey, I need a Eugene, Oregon agent. There's going to be 55 of us. You know, I make myself stand out in certain ways. I don't just type in Felicia Mondragon 541-255. I already gave you one nugget. Put a Facebook card out there, or a business card. You got to be very proactive. Reach out to the agents. I don't let them just post. I am Googling them and I'm figuring out where they're at, and I'm shooting them a text. If I don't hear back from them in 30 minutes, I'm going to call you and just say, hey, I know your Facebook message box is flooded, so I want to call you. But it's important to distinguish how you're going to help their client that is not here in town. So I went to family reunion last year in Vegas, and that's like a big KW event that was like 60, 70,000 people. That was nuts. But I met this agent out of Dallas, and she's very techie. Her husband like works for Google. And so she was one of the panel speakers, and I just happened to run into her afterwards, and we ended up chatting for a while. But she was starting to implement, or she's having her husband. Now, I'm not saying you need to do this. I would never do this, but I thought it was really neat. She sends her clients like a VR headset. So if she's in Dallas and her client's in New York, she's going to send them a VR headset in the future. Click onto my app and we'll walk through this house together. You don't need to do that. But when I talk to these agents, I say, listen, I'm very tech savvy when it comes to Facebook video. Oh, your clients aren't on Facebook? No problem. We'll do Skype. I pay for all the memberships. Zoom? No problem. Because Zoom, unless you're on a Keller Williams, I think you get 30, 40 minutes and then it cuts off. So If you want to, brand yourself as that person, pay $16 a month to Zoom and make sure that you know how to use it, you know how to invite people. So, I always say, hey, your clients aren't here in town. If they see something, pictures lie. Pictures sometimes lie. So I would much rather schedule a video FaceTime tour, and you'd be surprised how many agents are like, no one's even mentioned that. Well, how else are your clients supposed to realize what they like? Set up a Zoom meeting. Every single referral client I have, we start with a Zoom. We may start with a phone call, but at some point we're going to do this so they can see who I am. They can see that I'm in the office, I'm here working. We're not just texting back and forth at, your wish list. I want to be in front of you. I want to make eye contact. I want you to know I'm listening, because even though we're 3,000 miles away, you need to know I'm on the ground and I'm here working for you. So offer your services. It's as simple as a video call. Maybe there's agents out there. I have really refined how I do my buyers presentations now that we have to ask for them to write down what they're going to pay me. Don't
What's
be
a
afraid to get
pitch?
it's a pitch. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
easy. I've done it for 7 years.
Yeah.
What I tell buyers is, I'm like, you've already always paid for it. You wrapped it in with a loan. So when you paid $350,000 for your house on 123 Sesame Street, surprise, my commission was built in. So I love that line. I'm like, you've always paid for it. We're going to
Mhm.
ask the seller to continue to pay for it, but it's important to educate your buyers. They've always paid for it. It was just wrapped in with a loan. Don't be afraid to do Q&As. So that's, with these buyer things, when they sit down in my office now and they've never met me, hey, here's a little form to fill out. I have toys in my office. I got Legos. Your kids are here. Cool. Set them on the ground. I need your focus right now. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. It could be something as simple. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What do you do for work? What do you do for work? Make sure you know what your people do for work. I have one right now who's a graveyard worker in Washington, D.C. So I'm up at all times in the night when he's ready to talk to me when it comes to certain things. But just making yourself available. That's my first question I'll typically ask. How do you like to be communicated with? Some people hate texting, and make sure if they say they hate texting, don't text them. Put in their phone, their name is Ray Smith, and they big emoji, no texting. So, make sure you're
Mhm.
listening to people, because if you tell me you hate phone calls and I'm calling you all the time, I'm not listening. See, I'm getting off page here. Oh yeah, Q&As, make sure you know what your clients like. Hey, do you have a favorite coffee spot around town? Cool. I'll look at Courtney, their birthday's April 1st. They love Starbucks. Now she knows on March 20th, or when she's doing the birthdays prior, they're going to get a $5 Starbucks. You don't need to send a lot of money. It's just the thought that counts. A handwritten card, it'll bring me to tears, and it could be from another agent that says, I enjoyed working with you. I'm like, thank you. A handwritten card goes a long ways. Text messages starting to get a little inundated. I'm not saying they're bad. I just don't like the ones that are every other day, and then reply stop, because I'm going to hit stop. If you give me that option, I'm going to stop your text messages. So just make sure you're being purposeful with what you're having to say. Command is a great place if you're getting started. Be honest with you, I went away from Command. I've been paying a service called blah, blah, blah. And I'm back in Command because I've been foolish not to use the free service that comes with Command. So I have another agent in my office who knows Command in and out, and I'm taking lessons with this man on how to use Command, because the amount of free technology in Command, there's no reason you cannot get your 36 touch done. I mean, bang it out in make one day a week, you're set up for the next week. Mine is Saturday. So every Saturday, my assistant expects a list from me of what I expect from her for the next 7 days, and I make my own list. What's that call going to be like this week? I'm on the road 3 days. I'm probably not going to make 100 calls. I'm in the office 7 days.
What's your criteria of calls that you do like per day? What's your itinerary looked at like for that? Are you focusing on marketing?
Mine's
social?
more like the week. I know every week I better be hitting a certain amount of time, because like this morning I had a coaching call in my car because my mold inspector ran 45 minutes late, which pushed me 45 minutes late, which made me have a conversation in the car. So you just always kind of have to be prepared. But if you miss today's calls, like I missed today's lead gen, I know tomorrow and Wednesday I'm going to have to double down or filter it in at some point. Command, but what I was saying there is they have tags. And so like I probably have 36 different types of client. Oh, not 36. That's good. Drastic. 15 to 20 different types of clients in my command. So immediately when they go in, they're not going in without a tag, meaning I'm not just putting in Felicia Mondragon. Okay, who is she? Is she a friend? Is she an agent? Is she a vendor? Is she a soccer mom? Is she a dentist? Who is this person? So that way, when my email campaigns go out, my referral partners in Washington and Jamaica, they're not getting the weekend update of what's happening in Eugene. It's important to make sure you're sending relevant information. I would like, I keep getting this, I don't even, well, they probably just went on KW, but this market update in like Atlanta, Georgia. And it's like, it's cool. I have no idea who this person is. Now, if they would have reached out and said, what's up? I'm Mark Thomas. I'm out here in Atlanta. I see you're doing a lot of, they don't even need to say that. I'm Mark Thomas. I'm here in Atlanta. I would love to be added to your referral network. Cool, Mark. You're on my map. Done. Versus these are my market stats. I'm like, I don't care about you. I don't care what's going on in BFE, Georgia. I don't care. So now you're unsubscribed. So just make sure you're sending things that are relevant. If you, like Ray, if you want to start developing this business, figure out what's going on out there in Boise, Idaho. And, you know, how can I help? I think referral business it's a grind, but the entire business is a grind. So there's no key, there's no secret. Everyone's business is going to run a little bit different.
Are you part of any groups? Because at the moment I was able to find the referral group for KW Chispa, which is Latino and Hispanic. What are the other groups that are available?
Oh man, there's so many. I probably add 2 to 3 groups a week. You know, just my partners that are like, hey, come in here, come in here.
Yeah.
I will say I have 2 different message groups on Facebook. One has about 20 members, one has about 15, and we are on Facebook all day long. Just check. I mean, I'm not sitting here, but I'll check in, you know, when I have a free time. If I'm going to get coffee, I'm going to pull up Facebook because I want to check these groups or just people out there. Hey, I need an agent in Dallas, Texas. I'm going to tag blah, blah, blah down there. And then I'm going to go back to my Facebook group of 15 people and I'm going to say blah, blah, blah has a request out in Dallas, Texas, you guys. And those 15 people on there are going to say, yes, we love working with blah, 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 because most of us have actually met each other. Start small. I mean, we don't let people into this group. They would never let somebody else in here from Eugene, Oregon. There's one girl in Portland and there's one girl in Bend, and that is it. We constantly feed each other business, but start small, you know, keep an eye out. You can just, I mean, you could type in real estate referral groups. There'll be tons that pop up. Some require designations. Like there's a couple military ones. I've gone through a military relocation. So I'm allowed in this group because I have a designation and a license number to show it. So if they ask you, don't lie. You know, that's like the worst thing you could do is say, yeah. You know, there's one that's for military spouses. A lot of my people are in this group. I'm not married to a military spouse. And I think the worst thing I could do is lie about that. So just, I mean, there's so many. There's a ton KW. There's KW Worldwide. There's Keller Williams International. I have a gal in Jamaica. I've never used her. But yeah. I know if someone's talking Jamaica at Albertsons, I'm gonna be like, call D Sawyers Wilson. She's out in Jamaica. She's my girl. And take care of your referral partners. You know, stand out. I have, you know, made quite an effort to stand out with my referral partners over the last 7 years. You got to take care of them too. So, I mean, it's as simple as that, Ray. Start paying attention who's getting tagged and jump in. Even if you don't know that person. Hey,
I
Bill.
personally would love to listen to the type of pitches you're doing for referrals, especially for like out of state people.
Yeah. Zoom, you got to get in front of people. I always offer that. And some people are like, no, I don't do that. And that's okay. But making yourself stand out, because there's probably 4 other agents that they're going to interview on a telephone. And it's like, that's great. Just want you to, I would love to put a name to the face. Would you even have 5 minutes for a Zoom call? Then we could jump to the phone. Great. No problem. Sometimes it works. I don't get every deal as much as I would like to. Yeah. We talked about, you know, lead follow-up phase, you guys. It could take it could take a day sometimes. You could get that magic call. It does happen where you're like, oh my God, I got one in. So I have a listing right now, and this guy's brother came and saw me at an open house like 4 years ago. He goes, do you remember me? And I'm like, for sure. And he said his last name, and I go, oh my God, I remember this guy. Haven't thought about his brother, haven't thought about him, but he remembered me from 4 years ago, and I have a listing over it. So that's one for me. It's like golden unicorn, because I never nurtured that. I never took care of it. 99.9% of the time, you got to take care of stuff. So just be consistent. Again, send your emails. Don't over inundate people's inbox with emails. Try to make it stand out. I don't like being in front of the camera, believe it or not. So I am not a person that sends little updated videos. My gal is really working on me. Like, we're getting photos done, we're getting the whole thing. So do with what you're comfortable. Because if you go on there and people are going to see it, they're not going to want to read your stuff. They're going to be like, that person is very nervous, and I'm not going to watch this video. Make it quick. Make it quick. Everyone's busy. Nobody has time to read. I'll have some emails that, I mean, I kid you not, it's like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's like, oh my God, get to the point. What is this about? You know, so be purposeful with what you're saying. Especially because we're all on command and we all have access to the same templates. Canva, CANVA.com. Canva's awesome. That is like a picture editor. You can make all your own marketing. So I pay for Canva. There's free Canva, and then there's Canva Pro, and it's like $99 a year, and I have access to all my templates. But I made this. Dumb that can't do anything on a computer made this, and it's free. So this is going in all my trick or treat bags for the season. So play around with Canva, play around with the free version. There's plenty on it to do. But when it comes to social media, like if you go to my social media, you'll start recognizing templates because they're all over Canva, but I make them stand out a little bit different, you know? So again, that's why I think logo and branding is so important. So people know how to recognize you. Mine is simple. It's an F, it's an M that's combined into what looks like a house, and it's an M. I don't know how these people do it, but they do. You can have more than multiple brands too. So, you know, if there's certain things, I won't stray off course that. We'll just stick with that. I'm not really even sticking to this. So this is a fun one, and Ray, you'll appreciate this. So the National Association of Realtors stats, I think this is somewhere in your workbook, but it shows about 75% of both buyers and sellers will interview one agent only. So that means you get one shot. Then it's 15% typically do 2 agents, and everyone else, they're a pain. You're probably not going to get it anyway. No, I'm just kidding. But 73 out of 4 people, when you sit with them, will choose their agent right away. So it's so important. Like, I go into every interview acting like I have 17 people waiting at the door behind me. And I mean, you got to be aggressive too. If you're vibing and you're like, I know that you're going to interview other agents, ask it. Hey, we have developed such great rapport, don't you think? They're not going to be like, no. They're going to say, yes. What do I have to do right now for you to cancel your other interviews? Are there any questions that I missed that you plan on asking them? Because I want to make sure that I'm addressing the same thing that you're going to ask them. If there's any hesitation now, I want to address it, you know, and then make a joke. I only have one shot with you. You know, they're gonna appreciate that. And I've blocked people out before. What do I have to do to get it? And if it comes down to your brokerage fee, I'm not saying you need to work for free. So there will be some of that. That's where you want to role play with each other. Well, Nick said he'd do it for 1%. Well, I know that's a lie because Nick Nelson only works for 3. But you need to be prepared for that conversation. And what, you know, when I sign listings, here is my crew that comes out. And again, you don't need to do this. This is how I run my business, and this is how I come from value, because it's gotten some repeat business. But I have a crew of 4 people. I have a window washer, a power washer, a house cleaner, and who's the landscaper. 2 out of 4 of them do my own personal house. The other one's my assistant's husband. So when I am, if I know there's other things or other agents that are coming to interview, well, why should I pay you 3%? Well, because I am not going to put my name on anything. I'm going to put my name on a house and represent you with a house that's got clean windows, that's got clean this. And what I tell people is, hey, my crew can do all of these things. What we can't do is touch your personal stuff, meaning seller, I want you to focus on packing your kids' room. I want you to focus on getting that kitchen counter organized and clean. It's a nice way of saying, get your crap out of the way and let my crew do the rest, because we can't go in there and touch personal stuff. You never want to be offensive. So I always just I'm coming from contribution. When I charge X amount, some houses are different. Some houses are this amount, some houses are that amount. If I walk in, I'm like, oh my God, this is a $1,200 power washing job. You're darn right, we're going to write in a little bit higher of a rate. Now, with that, if you are paying for anything such as photographs, there's a little spot on a listing contract. It's the very, I think, second to last page on your listing contract. It's an additional provisions line. Yours truly just learned this one. I now moving forward am writing in that if they terminate the listing or they cancel, if the seller cancels or terminates the listing prior to close of escrow, they will refund me everything that I've put into it. Meaning, because I have a listing right now, I'm about $3,000 into it. And unless that sells, I'm getting my money back. But I wrote it in that way. But it's a $2.5 million listing. So you got to make yourself stand out, especially if you do want to play more of the luxury game. It's not going to be as simple as I provide booties and flyers. Okay, cool. What else? People want to hear, it's just like you. If you're going to hire somebody, you're going to ask what they're going to give you. I'm getting a fencing quote right now with 4 different fencers. That's my first question. It's not the price. It's what are you going to do? What does your service include? It's not about the price. People don't necessarily care about the price right off the bat. You need to come with what your services are, especially with this new rule. I never let a buyer sit down and that's the first thing out of my mouth. Well, I charge 3% and this is why. It's, hey, let me show you some examples. You can't see, but I have like a little TV in my office. Let me show you some examples of my current listings. See that curb appeal? Not a grass blade out of sight or whatever it is. Just make sure that you're coming from contribution. And again, you're just getting started. You don't need to go out there and spend a lot of money. We have an agent in our office. He's a great agent. He power washes all his listings. It's like, oh my God, Matt, do better with your time. But that's his thing. That's what people know him for. He's got elderly clients that, maybe wheelchair bound or whatever that can't do these things. So stay consistent. And maybe you have a client that's like, I don't want to pay you 3.5. Hey, that's no problem. Just to let you know, I never want us not to work out based on what I charge. That is my line. You're welcome to use it. But I mean it. I never want a client now, unless they're like, we'll pay you $1,000 flat fee for 2, I'm not going to do it. But I always make that very clear. Like, oh, okay, you don't want to pay me 3.5%. That's fine. Let's negotiate back down to 2.5. But just to let you know, at that point, you're going to need to bring in these people that I'm recommending that you should bring in. Make different tiers. No one's ever questioned me on my tier. They're like, oh my God, you bring in all these people. You're paying for it at the end of the day, but it's part of where I come from when I charge my certain fee. Some I'll walk through and I'm like, I don't need to do anything. Fantastic. Use your best judgment. Say you offer those services. I just took a manufactured home park listing and it's immaculate. And I'm like, Sharon, I'm like, I don't even need to bring in anybody, but I still slid it in there that, hey, had Dan not power washed everything, I would have brought my guy in. So, make sure you're always telling people what to expect from you. Just off-road today. I'm not even on the same thing here. Convert plan. Playing command, I would try to do 1 mailer once a quarter. So whether that, again, you're just getting started, don't go out and dump a lot of money into this business. But I think I pay $100 for 200 of these with postage and getting a stack delivered. Because when they turn them in, you got to pay. But like this little ice cream would cost the average person to go in $10. They're accompanied with KW, so this will cost me $5 or whatever it is. The holidays are coming up. The holidays are coming up. That should be the easiest way to get a card in front of people. There's no reason you cannot handwrite cards right now. Amazon, Walmart, you can get hundreds of cards for pennies on the dollar. Christmas, not everyone celebrates Christmas, and that's totally okay. So this year I'm doing Christmas cards too, but I'm also doing Thanksgiving cards. And so Courtney's going to be writing 500 Thanksgiving cards to me because everybody can, somehow celebrates Thanksgiving, or it's a non-religious holiday. So if I do send a Christmas card, they can't be offended. They're like, oh, it's just Felicia. She sends out Halloween cards. She does this, that. So, this is a time of year where some people can get really lonely. So just a simple card, simple handwritten, hey, thinking about you. I hope, Q4, or, if they're a business colleague, I hope Q4 is really great for you this year, or whatever that looks like. Try to just come from contribution. I find in this business, there's a lot of greed, and it's very easy to sniff. And it's very easy to sniff on even just agent to agent. I found there has been a little bit more greed with this new rule change. I got an offer the other day on a pretty high-end listing, and I think that's where we're going to see brokerage fees change, because should I make 3% on $2.5 million? No, there's no way you can really justify that unless we're in like Manhattan. I'm spending $1,000 a week on marketing or something like that. But I had this offer come through, and this agent was, and my seller's only offering 2%. And the buyer's agent says, well, I only work for 3.5%. I'm like, no, you don't. And she's like, yes, I do. I go, well, when did that start? Because we did one in 2022, and I was only offering 2.5% on that listing, and you took it no problem. And it just was like, so I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think there's agents out there that think they're going to make more money. I'm one of them that should be charging more. That's what my coach is on me. She's like, you're offering so much and you're doing it, but each case is a little different. I've done stuff where in a 55 home park where the client can't pay her next month rent. So am I going to charge her 6% to work in a manufactured home park? Because typically you charge a little more to work in manufactured homes. Absolutely not. I think I broke even by the time I paid my transaction coordinator and this and that. So do what's best for you. Again, that's the joy of this all, is that we're all business owners and we can run our business however. But I think you can do 100 good things. And the moment you do one thing that doesn't sit well with somebody, that is what they will remember. Tooth and nail. So learn your client, be a chameleon. I tell other agents that when I'm interviewing for referrals. I say I'm a chameleon, and I mean it. I can get along with anybody that walks, unless you're like a racist, a bigot, just a terrible human being by nature. I will morph to you. I will get along with you. So, if you are getting referrals, ask that agent, what is this person like? Are they analytical? Are they high D? Are they high I? Are they, I have one right now. He is an engineer, and it's like, pictures don't mean anything. My voice doesn't mean anything. I need to break everything down by a numerical word. I guess I'll jump back in here. So MOFR, you're going to see a lot of acronyms with KW. I still refer back to my cheat sheets quite a bit, but MOFIR, MOFR. It's make an offer for immediate response. So offer is a strong word, but basically make an outreach for an immediate response. So again, oh, you got a new Facebook friend today. What's the first thing you're going to do? Besides check if they're hackers, you're going to message them. Hey, thanks for being my friend today. And sometimes you'll get a response. It's like, I don't even know how I got friends with you. And then you're blocked. And it's like, okay, that's fine too. But you need to reach out. That is a free lead for you for the day. That is my cheat sheet for you. You need to make contacts for Mara and all that. That is a contact every single day. Message everyone on your list right now. If they don't know, if you haven't reached out to people on your Facebook and let them know that you're now into real estate, I guarantee some of you probably have 200, 800, 1,000 contacts right there. And it just come from the heart. Hey, checking in. Happy Halloween. Hope you and the family have a great one. Just to let you know, I'm in real estate. And I cannot stress this enough. I have a license in the entire state of Oregon. Now, you're not going to practice in the entire state of Oregon. That would be foolish and a waste of your time. But it's important for people to know that you're licensed in the entire state of Oregon. At the end of my email signature, it says, are you or anyone you know moving out of the state? I have referral partners all over the world who are just as eager to work for you as I am. Simple as that. I tell people all the time, oh my God, you're from Boise? I got Christina Ward out there, or whoever. Oh, you're from Bozeman, Montana? I got Jack Chrysler out there in Jackson. You know, let people know that you got people all over the world, because that's free money. That's free money. If somebody called Brianne and they're like, Brianne, do you have anybody out there in Michigan? I would say, yeah, I have nobody out there in Michigan, but I'm going to go to my referral network and I'm going to get a free 25% and figure out who people like. So I'll go back to my partners and say, hey, who do we like out here in Des Moines, Iowa, or whatever it is? But make, you know, if people ask, do you have somebody out there? I'm pretty sure I do. Let me just double check my database. You know, feel free to use that line and then come back after you've interviewed people. Now that's one thing too. I think Ray's on the timeout, but I don't just Google a name. I'm going to call that agent. And if they're not picking up and I don't get a response within 1 business day, that should tell you a lot about that agent. But remember that whoever you refer, your name is tied to it. So make sure that you are interviewing people. Look up their sales, look up their reviews. Reviews are a big one too. It's not necessarily about sales. I work with plenty of new agents. I just worked with a new one and she knocked it out of the park in Eugene. I'm so proud of her. I just want to squeeze her. But you make sure, because at the end of the day, if you refer Bob Dole and Bob Dole sucks at the deal, they're going to remember you gave them Bob Dole's name. They're going to remember Bob, don't get me wrong, but they're going to remember that professional expert out of Eugene that said they had somebody. So Mofer, make contact for immediate response. So you have a direct offer, which is one that's designed to get a response. So meaning you're asking a question. Hey, what are you doing Tuesday? Hey, what's going on here? Or an indirect offer, a message not necessarily about buying or selling, but helps build relationships. One thing I do every day, this is one thing I'll do on my own Facebook, is the first thing I do when I open my little eyeballs, I pet my dog, I have a cup of coffee, and I wish everybody on Facebook a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. They're filled in for you now. You can pull up your Facebooks and it's filled in. It says Brianne Brown's birthday's today, and it already has a message that says happy birthday, Brianne, with emojis, this and that. And I hit send, I hit send, I hit send, I hit send. Wish people happy freaking birthday. Because one, they're going to be like, who are you? I've gotten that before. Hey, who are you? Thanks for the happy birthday wish. Oh, I'm Felicia. I'm not sure when we became friends, but just want to wish you a happy birthday. It's a little token. It's a little token. I know it's silly, but consistency is key. I had a friend reach out to me a while back. She's like, you didn't wish me a happy birthday on Facebook. I'm like, you are right. I didn't. Happy birthday. So yeah, just stay in touch. Again, not everything needs to necessarily be real estate related, but they should. At some point in your time, there should be a little nugget. And by the way, I'm in my 3rd month of real estate. What a gas. Or I've learned this or this. Become a resource person. You know, I pride myself on my little black book. You know, with what I said, I am very cautious about what name I give out, meaning that can be down to your plumber. But when my contacts think of me, I want them to think of me for real estate, but maybe, hey, I need a painter. I better call Felicia. You know, hey, it's conversation starter. Or when you're checking in, hey, what's going on around the house? Oh, I'm doing projects. And yeah, oh, Bill, you know, he started tearing up the wall. Now we just got a hole in the wall. Well, hey, I got a good handyman. You want to give Gary a call? I can have him give you a call or whatever that is. So you don't just need to make yourself about real estate. You need to be known that you're in real estate, but come from contribution. That is the bold law. That is my #1 bold law. And I do believe I have a successful business because I come from contribution, and I think people know it. You know, I'm genuine. I'm not cheesy. I can be, but you know, at the end of the day, if you don't like what I say, it's all good. We're going to shake hands. We're going to be on the way. You're still going to get a card from me checking in once in a while. Until they tell you to stop contacting them, contact them. Contact them over and over and over and over. You know, how many times have you been hit up for a special service? You know, here's a free facial service or $25 off. And it's like, no. And then one day I'm like, I got a free afternoon. I'm going to hit that facial up. And, you know, I told them no 18 times, but when I was ready, I reached out to them. So the same goes with real estate. Until they say, don't contact me, contact them. And if the real estate conversation doesn't get engagement, but boy, you send a quick note about how well the Oregon Ducks did, and they're just all excited. Okay, now check in once in a while about real estate, but continue the conversation, because this business is not just about maintaining real estate clients. If that's the way you're going to run your business, you may not get very far in this business. You need to just we're people of many hats. We are psychiatrists. I'm a bartender. I'm this and that, depending on where you're at in the deal. You will end up being people's most trusted ally. If things are going wrong in the deal, they're not going to call the title company. They're not going to call Fidelity and say, "Wham," they're going to call you. They'll call you before the lender. I mean, I've had lenders blow up deals and they're not calling the lender. They're going to call me first, and I'm going to say, okay, here's what we need to do. So just be prepared for all the phone calls, happy, sad, this, that. But it's important just to check in, because here's the deal. If you're not checking in, somebody else is. Because just about every person can name 2 realtors, whether they actually know them or whether they saw them on a billboard. Every person can name a few realtors off the top of their head. So it's important that you're the one that they think of, and just give them updates. A 36 touch is pretty easy to do. Again, especially with Command, you could do free text, free emails, things like that. If you're just getting started and you're like, I only have 20 people in my database, then there's no reason those 20 people shouldn't be hearing from you every week. It's again, try not to do the mass texting. That's why I like tags, and I can't encourage those enough in Command to use the tags. So that you're sending the appropriate stuff to the appropriate people. My referral partners, they're not going to care about the Duck score this weekend, but they are going to care about this and this and this. So be purposeful with what you guys are doing, and, come into the office. If any of you are near brokerages, I find that to be pretty helpful. I mean, if I don't come into the office, I have a home office. I am much better here just because of the camaraderie sometimes that I'll see here. And, as new agents too, you can get some open house deals. I mean, you can just get deals. I had one agent, she's no longer with this company, and I thought eventually she'd maybe make it on my team, but she was kind of my go-to gal. She was from an Ignite class, and we just kind of hit it off, and she became that girl. So when I was out of town, I knew to call her. And I'm like, yeah, you close the deal, you give me a small cut, and that's that. So, the more you work, the more you'll get out of it. There's not going to be one at the end of the day asking, how was the work week? Unless you're married, maybe something like that. But you whatever you put into this business, guys, is what you're going to get out of it. So, I encourage you to play around with Command and to stay in touch with people, no matter who they are, because the worst they're going to say is you're going to get an unsubscribe button. And most often they're just not going to do it. So that's pretty much all I have for you today on maintaining the relationships. But again, you're going into a really solid time of year where people want to hear from you. This is the time of year where you should be checking in. Just wishing you and yours a great rest of the year. I hope 2025 is killer for you. You don't need to write a novel, especially if you got a lot of people in your database. Make it quick. But be purposeful this time of year, because I love this time of year. I'm a holiday freaking fanatic, but I'm always conscious that this is a lot of people's worst time of year too. So be that person that reaches out. Hey, hope all is well. I don't even care if you mention real estate. Maybe not this time. If this is the first time you're reaching out to somebody in a while, maybe don't bring up real estate, or just maybe leave it at the end. Hey, by the way, I'm in real estate. Would love to chat with you about it sometime. And leave it at that. Not, who do you know that needs to buy or sell? By the way, Merry Christmas. It's like, if you haven't talked to them in a while, one of the biggest things too that one of my coaches told me is don't be afraid to apologize. I mean, there's so many contacts that I've missed this year because I ran my butt off in summer, and now I'm calling, hey, I know I haven't talked to you since July. That's my bad. And they're going to be like, oh, don't worry about it. But the moment you fess up to it, believe it or not, it changes the conversation. Versus, hey, Ray, how's it going? How's the family doing? It's like, why are you calling me? I always start, if I haven't talked to you and I drop the ball, that's how I start the conversation. Alex, I know it's been a long time. I cannot believe we're already in October. That's my fault. Sorry for the delay here. Just wanted to follow up. No one has ever come back and bit my head off. They're like, don't worry about it. I've been busy with Junior and this, we're in this and this and this. Everyone's busy, but just acknowledging it.
Yeah, I thought one of the funniest ones that I had this weekend with one of my colleagues. She was telling me, "Hey, I don't understand why this client didn't call me back." And she's going over, and I'm all like, "All right, so what were the questions? What did she tell you?" She's like, "Well, she's looking for an agent to help her save money. She's looking to save money," and I'm just like, "Well, Autumn, then she's looking for an agent to help her save money."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, I went in and told her all the ways I can save her money." I'm all like, "That's not what she wanted. She wanted you to be confident in yourself to tell her I can save you money."
Mm-hmm.
That's all she
Mhm.
wanted to hear. But exactly to that point that you were giving, overstretching it and giving out too much information will just push people away. It won't bring them
Mhm.
to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you know you haven't been responsive to them or you have dropped the ball. And I'm super guilty of it. I mean, God, up until
Yeah.
leverage, I was the worst.
Yeah.
And you know, I would say, I mean, had I followed the model from day one, I'd be in the top 1% of
Mhm.
MLS. I mean, hands down. You know, I don't want to say I'm not lucky in my business. I grind like no other. But I'll be the first to admit, I don't make a lot of phone calls. My business, it's taken 8 years to kind of get that repeat. So now my coach, like a light bulb went off a couple weeks ago. She's like, what if you implemented everything you tell your Ignite people to do? Meaning, what if I did call my database and on a regular schedule, I'd be a multi-million-dollar agent here in Lane County. I run my business a little different, so I don't follow through like I should on that end. But it's like, guys, it's all systems. It's all systems and it's all repetitive systems. And I mean, this business is unlimited for you guys, and not everybody wants to make. You know, maybe some of you want to do 8 deals a year, 5 deals a year, 1 deal every other month. That's the joy of it. Now, make it worth your time and your money, you know, because there's a lot that goes into this business too, as you all are finding out, I'm sure. But I think by far this is one of my most engaged Ignite classes. So I see more potential out of all of you than most Ignite classes I see. But again, scripting, role playing. I mean, I go to these family reunions and I watch Gary Keller script practice on stage. And it's like, if Gary Keller is not too good to script practice or be vulnerable, neither are you. Like I said, you got agents in your office that I would love for somebody to come in and challenge me on role playing right now. I would love it. Like if, you know, I hang up and I see one of you, oh God, did I lose you? Oops, someone's calling me. Go away. But challenge each other because every deal will present a challenge. Every single deal is going to present a challenge. So make sure you know how to answer those. And if you don't, you know what, Lori, I don't have the answer for you right now. With that, I want to be very sure before I give you an answer. So let me get back to you. Simple as that. Well, you don't know, you don't know. Don't make up stuff. But at the end of the day, you're handling people's biggest purchase of their life. So make sure you're handling it with care, with a lot of care. Even if it's a $50,000 trailer or it's $1 million home, you are still handling people's biggest purchase of their life. So make sure to do it and be good about it. And yeah, that was a lot to take in. I talk a lot. So do you have any ahas or anything you want to throw my way or any questions? I blew through that. I was supposed to go till 3. I'm sure you're all so sad to end Ignite 45 minutes early today. No, you guys can do it. Everyone can do this business. I think stay off the media. You know, you're going to have a lot of people challenge you. Well, you know, one of our agents in our office, she's on the other side of this wall. God bless her. She pays for Facebook sponsored ads. And I mean, 90% of the comments are like hate comments from society, you know, being like, this house is so expensive. And then you look them up and you're like, don't take it personally. I can't encourage that enough. If you got a fuming email or you're fuming, go take a lap. Go take a lap, write a couple drafts, compose yourself. Because the moment you show emotion to a client, they're going to get emotional times 10. So it's your job. Again, you're going to play a lot of hats. I've taken people out to drinks before and I'm like, okay, you feel good? We're ready to get back at it? Fantastic. Put your shoes on. Let's go back to work. You know, so just make sure you stay as business as possible. And especially if you're dealing with friends. You may have a friend that doesn't want to work with you, and that's okay. You know, I always ask, I'm like, what's the reason? And 99% of the times, I just don't want to mix friendship and business. Okay, is there anything I could do that would change your mind? No? Okay. Well, would you be willing to work with Nick next time? Because I got a good partner in the office. I know his values are the same as me. So again, don't be afraid to tell people that you have connections, even if you don't. Because there's nothing sweeter than a free 25% referral fee. Like you'll walk in on a Tuesday and there's $4,000 in your mailbox. You're like, for just picking up a call. But I cannot stress that enough. Make sure you know who you're sending him to, okay? Because if you send them to a bad agent, they're never going to call you again for anything. Well, it's nice to meet all of you. I know you're all going to do famously well in this business. I think Mara sends out information, but you all can find me on Facebook if you'd like to be friends and start following social media accounts, lenders, everybody. You should be the main person on Junk Luggers page or whatever it is. So the more you want people to know, the more you got to put into it. But send me a message. Would love to be friends with all of you. Okay. You bet. You guys have a good afternoon, and that is all I have for you. So go out there and change some lives. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you later.
Ray, do you still want me